This week, we are exploring dead internet theory, ghost kitchens, and mystery fog. You're watching Jackalopes Explore. This week's episode of Jackalopes Explore is brought to you by Cloud Peak Center Lanes and Games, located at 1520 Coffeen Avenue in Sheridan. Stop in today to check out their amazing new arcade and prize counter, offering games and prizes for all ages and skill levels. From their full-service lounge to bowling alley and arcade, there is something for everyone. Cloud Peak Center Lanes and Games. Stop in today. I'm Aaron Linden.
I'm Emmy Whiting.
And I'm Steve Sisson.
Where's Floyd?
We lost without him.
Floyd's got the crud this week. I have some sort of like deviated trachea or something, and I think
I just have a normal stupidity.
Okay.
I'm just,
Okay.
I'll have to pee in a little bit. I guess.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Anyway, this week on Jackalopes Explore, and hit the subscribe. That helps us out. Hit the thumbs up, like button, and all of the jazz that you do here on the good old YouTuber. And we're going to start with Ghost Kitchen, because I actually, out of all conspiracy theories and weird paranormal whatever, have never heard of this. So I'm excited.
I have been wanting to talk about this for weeks, but I brought it up to Floyd, and he was like, well, I don't know. But now he's not here.
yeah.
So we can do what we want.
No, we had other things to talk about, like the drones.
Yeah.
Much bigger deals than ghost kitchens, because believe it or not, it is not about ghosts.
So it's just a clever title.
So this is, when I think of conspiracies, I think of like scams involved in that too.
Okay.
And people are like, perceived scams, things like that. This is actually a scam happening every day. So ghost kitchens are also called virtual restaurants, cloud kitchens, or dark kitchens.
Ooh.
This does not involve any actual ghosts. Unfortunately, I know.
Does it involve kitchens?
Well, I guess you'll see. I don't know. No. So these are a food service business that serves customers exclusively by delivery and pickup based on phone and online ordering. Typically, they're using a third-party delivery company, so like DoorDash, Postmates, things like that. And so ghost kitchens are a standalone business that either operate out of an existing kitchen or from a separate kitchen set up away from the restaurant. In theory, this seems like a great idea. I mean, not having a full service restaurant brings down the cost of everything,
Right.
get things out quicker, things like that. But
The wait staff is ghosts.
But it seems that much larger companies are now starting to use this to rebrand the same food as different things. So if you've ever looked at DoorDash, personally, I do not use these companies because I'm like, that delivery fee is not for me.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm already spending so much money on food. I'll go pick it up.
And it's like in a big city, maybe.
Yeah.
But like here, you're just plain lazy. Like using DoorDash. Like, I can't drive 5 minutes across town.
I mean, it's a booming thing here in Sheridan.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which I'm
definitely.
actually surprised Sheridan has it, because I remember living in a smaller town in Minnesota. They never had it,
Right.
Yeah.
But bigger cities, they did. So think about when you're scrolling on there and you see, I don't know, like Sunrise Pizza. And you're like, I have never heard of that. You look at the location, it says 0.1 miles away. You're like, what are you talking about? I've never seen this building before. It's probably another company down the street selling you the same shit
Just under a different name.
under a different name.
So I kind of have heard of this then, because like there's a dude on YouTube, Mr. Beast or whatever. He's like the most,
yes.
right?
So-
and you can get a Beast burger, and it's actually just like a crappy Perkins burger.
Yes.
Right?
So I think it is Perkins that's associated with. So I do have some examples, and it's good old Wikipedia that has a huge list of well-known ghost kitchens. So one of them is the Burger Den and Meltdown are ghost kitchen brands owned and operated by Denny's.
Okay.
Really?
And then another one is Fresh Set, Chicken Sammy's, and the Wing Department are ghost kitchens that are operated by Red Robin. And you think they got multiple kitchens in there? No.
Right.
It's the same food.
Coming off the exact same line. Yeah.
Same food.
Yeah.
And one of my personal favorites is Pasquelli's Pizza and Wings is a ghost kitchen of Chuck E. Cheese.
Nice.
Oh,
Yes!
no.
Do you know how mad I'd be if I got Chuck E. Cheese pizza when I was trying to order from Pasquelli's?
Yeah, you're paying like triple the price.
Yes.
Well, now that's an interesting thing. You can do an experiment and see if anyone can notice that they're the same thing, or if the image of it being something else leads them, like the placebo effect, to think that it's actually better.
Right.
So, Eddie Burback on YouTube, he did a great deep dive into this topic, if you wanted to watch his video. And he actually got 9 cod burgers, same description on everyone, or cod sandwiches, same description on each one, 9 of them from the same place, all under different names. And, you know, he was like, legally, I cannot say this is the same sandwich. My taste buds say different, but legally I cannot. So, you know, it's like, it's the same thing, just under different branding. Because if you're like, why would I order from Chuck E. Cheese?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But
like the least DoorDashed thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But Pasquelli sounds great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
That's actually pretty clever, though, because if you've got a certain image with your brand and you want to move outside of that image and cater to some other people, just change the name on it.
And make the same thing.
Yeah. Just put a new look, same great taste.
This Yahtzee pizza tastes just like Domino's.
Now that's funny. I like that. So Eddie Burback, like I was saying, he did a great deep dive. He also, in his video, said he found 44 separate restaurants on a delivery app that was operated out of one location. 44 on the app. Yes.
Boy, yeah. You'd think there's a limit to how many different names you could give the same product, but maybe not.
Yes. And so a lot of the ghost kitchens will either use stock photos or just like their original restaurant photos, but put different branding on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Either by Photoshop or, you know, just putting a different brand on the picture itself. There's also been issues with companies offering different items in their ghost kitchen than they do on their regular menu, which, you know, would be great because you're like, okay, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, I think if you see a different restaurant, but it's different food, kind of separate, I'm like, that makes sense. But no, they're just offering this food, but they don't have what it takes to cook it. They're not specialized in that food. So it's coming looking terrible. It doesn't look like the stock photos at all.
Never does.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also it's not what's described on the listing. You know, it might say it has some sort of sauce and then it's not, like it doesn't have any.
Right.
You know, things like that. And everyone's just like, and it tastes horrible.
Interesting.
So,
but it's also kind of, it makes me think, especially like, you got U.S. Food, Cisco, Shamrock, right? Like, I mean, there's like 3 food delivery. So every restaurant really has kind of the same stuff.
They're using the same ingredients.
How they put their twist on it.
yeah.
So all of them are kind of ghostly kitchens.
But
It's all the
it
same
just-
stuff with just a little different sauce on it.
Right.
And it's just like, it's so unethical in my opinion. I'm like, you know, that's just shitty because again, you're not thinking you're ordering from Chuck E. Cheese.
Right,
and it's,
right.
It's literally the same food.
Yeah, it's a little deceptive at least.
Yeah. So
At the very least.
I just think
Is there a disclaimer, like a little asterisk, and it's
No.
like, actually Chuck E. Cheese?
no.
There's probably not a reason to do that, though, if you think about it.
Right.
Because, I mean, unless it's like a copyright infringement on the brand, there's really nothing that says you can't make the same
I
thing
suppose.
and call it something else.
I think it's, what do they call that? When it's marketed something, but it's not.
Like the bait and switch.
No, it's like an actual legal thing. Like you cannot market this when it's not what it is.
Yeah.
What do they call that?
But I think if you're talking about like a pizza or a burger, that's probably a pretty basic thing.
I guess.
You can't really trademark pepperoni pizza.
No, but I'm saying it's false advertisement. That's the word I was looking for.
I will say,
because you're saying it's one thing and it's the same thing as
something else.
Yeah.
Well, but there's other examples of stuff like that, though. I mean, you got like the store brands that are probably made in the same facility as the name brand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically the same thing with a different name.
But you know that you're getting the knockoff of the item.
True. Yeah.
Whereas for this, it's literally in the same kitchen, same recipe.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but you're thinking you're getting something
Wow,
else.
this Pascali's pizza does not look like Pascali himself made it.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're like, why does this taste so bad?
Yeah. That is interesting.
Okay.
Or why does the Chuck E. Cheese taste so good?
Granted, I have never been to a Chuck E. Cheese. I think I went like once.
Oh, you're missing out.
But
it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, Grant says it's
Grant
amazing.
says it's
He loves
amazing.
it. But he's got little kids.
The thing is, you have your expectations, though. Like, you go to a certain place, you have a certain level of expectation that if it meets that expectation, it's good.
And I wonder if, while they're advertising it as Pascali's, if they're trying to up the price.
See, that's the part that would get me.
Yeah, and
Like,
I
if
don't
I
know
can
that
get Chuck E.
personally.
Cheese and it's $13.99, or I can get Pascali's and it's $13.99.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay for a better name, even though it's the same thing.
Absolutely, though.
Yeah.
Because I'm also like, I couldn't imagine. I would think that going to Chuck E. Cheese is like the appeal. So if Chuck E. Cheese is on DoorDash, I'm like, why?
You're right.
You know
Right?
what I mean? Isn't it like the adventure of it?
And whatever illness you're going to pick up.
Yes.
What's the Denver Mexican restaurant? That's the cafeteria food, but it's the experience.
What is the name of that? It's Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita. Yep. I mean,
And literally, it's in a strip mall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you're going into like the corner of the strip mall. And it turns out it's like Denver International Airport because it's like 5 levels deep.
Oh my gosh.
And full of caves. And there's like cliff diving and magic shows.
That's
and
amazing.
It's the
so
experience.
crazy.
The
I wanna
food
go
is
to
like
that.
cafeteria food.
Oh, it's crazy. And I think the guys from South Park actually bought it to refurb
Yes.
it because
Yes,
because it was
going
struggling.
under.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not in a nice neighborhood.
No.
What? Really?
Bonita, I thought it was fake.
Casa Bonita is a real place. I've been there several times. It's amazing.
I have not been there for a long time, but
I was like, no, I want to go.
I don't know now, like when we were there and then you like put the little flag up to get more chips and stuff. It was actually pretty good. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, this is the best.
Have you ever been to the Forrest Gump restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you do the run, Forrest, run and stop, Forrest, stop to get the service to stop. Yeah.
Tastes like Sega riots.
yeah.
Anyway,
So the experience of that is 90% of that.
Yeah,
food.
I'm not door dashing bubblegum shrimp.
Oh, but
I
I'm
mean,
telling you though, I would. I think it's so good.
That's
Oh,
good,
oh.
but I mean, it's
And
like the
potatoes,
experience.
the mashed potatoes.
It's
They
not
got
like
the
Taco
skins
Bell,
in it,
right?
Oh.
Where you roll into Taco Bell and you're like, the ambiance is why I'm here. You're like, no, not really. Let alone the dining partners. So,
But anyway,
don't get me wrong, I love Taco Bell, but
I also love Taco Bell. But anyway,
so Taco Bell, if you're watching and you want to send tacos, I mean, like, we'd totally take them.
please
I mean,
send me a Crunch Wrap Supreme.
they all have their purpose. Like Taco Bell at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh,
There's
totally.
like nothing
The
better.
best.
Right. You can't beat Taco Bell at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing open. Any more ghost kitchens?
Well, there's a whole list if anyone's interested on Wikipedia.
Awesome.
That was just 3 of my favorite examples.
It would be interesting to see how close to the legal edge those things operate. I mean, they've got to be like right against the boundary of getting away with something that, is.
And especially if they charge more.
Yeah.
Like if they're charging more,
Then it's
I think
what
that's
would you
a
even
real
call that?
issue.
Like price gouging almost. You know what I mean?
although there's an episode that we could do on that where all of these grocery stores now are going to the digital price tags. And as people take those items and scan them, the price goes up because there's more demand and less supply. So your can of green beans that was 89 cents later in the day, if it's like right before Thanksgiving or whatever, it could be
that's
$1.50.
shady. That's
And I'm like-
shady. I do not like that.
So the price could increase from the time you take it off the shelf.
Yes,
and check
100%.
out.
Oh, I'd be so mad.
Wow.
I'd be taking pictures of everything in the store while I was doing it.
But here's the thing. I mean, really, when you go to the store, are you paying attention to that?
I don't.
I don't.
I do.
Yeah.
I go to 2 different grocery stores during the week because Well, actually 3, because I go to the Stuff Mart
Yeah, the Stuff Mart.
for like pop and coffee because it's way cheaper there.
Mm.
Yep.
And then I go to the dollar store in Buffalo to get my bread and cereal and things like that, my
Okay.
dry stuff. And then I go to the local grocery store for my produce.
So you're the person that if you're in front of me, I'm glad there's like self-checkouts that I can get around you because you're itemizing every single thing down to the penny.
Well, typically what I do is I go and I buy everything. I get my receipts and then I compare. and then I sit there
okay.
and highlight.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My sole purpose is to get in and get the hell out.
Yeah.
And
I don't care what it's going to cost me. I'm in on a mission.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, were you at Stuff Mart the other day? I'm like,
For 98 seconds.
yeah, why? They're like, well, I saw a guy go by in a hoodie with a hat with sunglasses on, and I thought it
And
might
a fake
be you.
mustache.
But
He
I
was
didn't say
muttering.
anything because I wasn't sure, and I'm like, no, I go incognito, like
I
out.
love that.
Like,
Yeah.
get what you need. I don't care what that avocado is costing me at that point.
Mhm.
I know I need it. I'm out.
I wish, but it's far too
It makes
expensive.
I know, but it's
far too expensive. I can't
It's also
do it.
far too much pain in the ass when you
Yeah.
have to spend time. So
Well, it is. It is. I don't love it.
On a kind of a somewhat related topic to that, locking everything up in the stores, do you think they're trying to drive online shopping and pickups
It
rather
makes
than
me
going into the store?
so angry. I refuse to get makeup from Stuff Mart now.
and all of a sudden that had never
I mean, the
been a
whole
thing.
the
And
whole
now-
thing's locked up. And I'm like, I'm going to the place across the street to get my stuff now because that's unlocked.
We're literally in Bufu, Wyoming, and they lock it up.
I'm like, this is so, I can't. It makes me so mad.
So I talked to the
I take
guy
personal offense.
that runs the Stuff Mart, and he said just in that department,
Yeah.
last year, $180,000 loss of merchandise.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I would never guess it'd be that high.
I was like, oh, well, I guess I'd lock it up too.
Yeah. So what's the end result of that, though? I mean, more pickup orders, more online orders. Less, because the hassle of trying to get somebody to help you.
My whole thing is if they're going to do that, then they need to station someone there.
There.
Right. Yes, and have a checkout at that spot.
Right.
Because I actually saw a TikTok of how it got locked up elsewhere. And this is before it had started happening in Sheridan. And so someone was just trying to get hair dye because their hair dye was locked up
Mhm.
at theirs, which that hasn't happened to us yet, but
Give it
It's,
time.
yeah, just give it.
it's
few
a matter
minutes.
of time. But they were just trying to get hair dye. I mean, there were 6 people just standing there waiting for someone. They pressed the button. No one was coming.
The button's not hooked to anything.
No. No.
It's like the elevator call button. It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
I mean,
But then it just like they were closing. The store was closing, so they were like, "Bring all your items," and everyone was like, "No, I'm staying here until I get this damn thing."
Yeah,
Because if
because
they
they're
wanna-
either going to have to come
Yeah.
kick me out, and while they're doing that, they can unlock the product.
Exactly.
so the other thing is to go back to the old general store where you just there's a person at the counter. You tell them what they want, and they go back and get it for you.
Isn't
Yeah.
that's pretty much online ordering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's kind of like it's coming full circle back to how that used to be.
Have you ever done that though? You online order and you're like no substitutes, and you order like 30 things and you get 5 because they can't not substitute.
Yeah.
I have never actually ordered online.
The thing
like
I would
that.
avoid is like getting any fresh produce.
Oh,
through an
no,
online
'cause they
order,
don't care.
they just grab whatever's the closest, and usually it's not the best one in the bunch.
I have never actually done online ordering like that. Like even
I've
during
had
COVID times, that thing,
The
that
thing, the
times,
2020 thing.
the 2020
We'll mute
thing
that out.
times. I just went into the store all prepared, all masked up and everything. So, but
I just went into the store unmasked and watched everybody freak out.
great.
I'm like, you have masks on, you're fine. What the hell? But
Just don't cough on me, Aaron. God.
yeah.
on the produce. I don't want that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew.
Well, I also will say when they first started locking stuff up, I went to get my face wash. My face wash is like $7, and there was a person right there. So I was like, you know what? Sure, Let me just, they unlocked it. They were like, I'll bring this up to customer service for you.
Mm.
I was like, I can't even have it.
It's not a big screen TV. It's face wash.
I'm like, I'm not going
You
up to
feel like a
customer
criminal,
service.
like for no reason.
Yeah.
You're like, well, you clearly can't be trusted with face wash.
I'm
But
like,
think about it, like how many big screen TVs get stolen to how many things like that.
Right.
The actual total loss the store experiences on the small stuff is probably way more than the big stuff.
Probably.
Yeah. But I think Walmart, even if I did take it, which I would not, let me just make that clear, I would not. But even if I did a $7, like, I'm sorry if you're worried that worried about $7 as a Stuff Mart kind of thing.
So I've never stolen anything. And the whole reason is because $7, jail time.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you the $7. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder, the showroom is kind of a thing of the past.
Right.
And maybe at some point going to a store and grabbing a product
Will be a thing of the
will be
past.
a thing of the past.
See, then everyone's going to get shit produce.
Mhm.
So get ready.
Yeah, we already kind of are.
But the crazy thing is, depending upon where you live, like we don't even have 2-day Amazon delivery around here.
No.
'Cause we're in the middle of nowhere.
Absolutely not.
My brother, if he orders something by noon, it'll be on his doorstep by between like 5 and 8 at night.
Same with my sister.
And he gets groceries like that all the time.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, how are they? He's like, fantastic.
Mhm.
It's like the best of the best because they go through it so fast that it's not
Right.
just sitting there.
And there's not a bunch of people looking at that
Right.
one, putting it back, looking at that
Me.
one, putting it back. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Dropping it on the floor, putting
Get
it back.
nasty. You
Yeah.
nasty.
It rolls halfway down the aisle. You pick it up and put it back.
Oh,
God.
I'm going to have a different kumquat.
I'm going to start my own garden right after this episode.
I
This is-
know. You can't trust Aaron around
Yeah.
anything.
I can't.
You
I'm
can't
not to
look
be
in my
trusted.
fridge ever. You're not allowed in my fridge.
Give me like, you can
Manhandle all the produce.
take a swig of the orange juice. Yeah. Put that back in there.
Little too pulpy. Put it back in.
Oh my God. And it's like the real slow, like dribble. Right back
in. Wipe the chin, wipe it off on the lip of the. Close it up.
Wipe it off on the cap. Put the cap back on. Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
See?
That's totally how I roll.
Now you're not allowed in the house. Not just the fridge, it's the house.
Not even through the front door.
Just hand me a plate of Pascali's pizza out the screen door.
Send it through the letter slot.
Oh, gosh.
All right. So with that, the dead internet theory.
Yeah, let's get
So,
to that versus
Right,
orange juice.
right now, you just kind of prove that it's not completely dead because you've got people that you know that are online doing stuff.
Online doing stuff.
But the theory of dead internet is that a very large percentage of the traffic on the internet is not human.
It's bots.
There
right?
are bots generating the content. There are bots commenting on the content. And bots commenting on the comments for the content. And I kind of wonder how, for some reason, I don't know what I did, but my algorithm on Facebook is all flat earthers. and like planes don't run on fuel. And
right.
So I don't know what I commented on to start getting that stuff. But I look at that and I'm like, there cannot possibly be this many people that actually believe that planes don't have fuel in the wings.
Oh, there are.
But
Well, and I think about the seductive ladies I get on mine that are like, buy my things. But it's like, it's obviously not a real person. I'm like, is that a bot or is that like a scammer? Like, is that a physical person or is that a bot?
It's a
that's
ghost
like,
Etsy.
it's like,
It's not just kitchens anymore.
no, it's like a bot that's like, look at this butt. Humans like butts. So here you go.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if that's a real scammer or a bot.
So dead internet theory has been around for a while.
yeah, decade probably.
And that was before AI. So I keep wondering, I'm like, how much worse is it going to get? Because you've got AI going on there and going, well, I know Steve likes flat earth. So I'm going to comment to Steve about flat earth and then comment.
Just tag you in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I'm stupid and I'll comment. This is such nonsense. And then, of course, it's like, oh, he's commenting on it.
Right.
Give him more.
Give it more.
Yeah.
He loves this stuff.
But yeah, I look at that stuff and I think, are these actually people that are having these conversations about airplanes that don't use fuel to fly? And
Or is it just being all
bots
put
just
on?
doing their own thing and having no idea what they're actually talking about?
So algorithms are funny because, like, my YouTube anymore, I can't find normal content,
Yes.
like, at all. It's all flat Earth, reptilians, UFO, UAP, mystery fog. You name some crazy ass thing. So if I go on there and I'm like, how to make soda bread, it's like, how to make soda bread on Mars. I'm like, no, I just, okay. If it works on Mars, I guess I'll try it.
And what's the future of that going to be? Because right now you can still kind of tell AI it's close, but it's not quite right. There's always weird things about it that jump out. At some point, it's going to get ironed out, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Right.
Well, and even just like videos, AI people talking, you know, like right now, it's like you can tell because something about it's not right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, it's not grammatically.
But at some point, how are you going to be able to tell?
You're not.
Yeah, humans are very good at like recognizing other humans, and a lot of the horror stuff is stuff that's close but not quite right.
It's something's wrong
Like the
with
robot
it.
dogs.
And, yeah,
they're
and
just
AI
close
does
enough
Like
that they're creepy.
You'll be watching an AI thing, and all of a sudden the face does something weird,
Yeah.
and it's scary. And
Or
it's,
like the fingers, suddenly there's like 10.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, and that's the stuff that's more scary than like an actual like creepy monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder, like, is it ever going to get good enough where actual humans cannot tell the difference? And
I think if we hit that point, we're screwed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Then it'll
we get
be
Deepfake
Terminator.
and Terminator.
Terminator.
Yeah, and like a politician says something and it's just
Right.
completely AI generated. How do you prove that they didn't actually say
Right.
that?
And imagine your life being ruined by something like that. That would be so sad. Yeah.
Or it is you saying it, and then you come out and you're like, that wasn't me saying it. And it's total plausible deniability because they're like, well, I created this.
Right.
And it looks like you.
Could have been AI.
Yeah, and I just wonder how much of the internet traffic actually is bots, because we know that there's some of that going on. But how
I think
much?
there's a lot of it going on, honestly. I mean, you look at a lot of weird comments, too.
Yeah, and the usernames
Yes.
are really
Right.
unusual.
The
And,
grammar's
very-
off. You're like,
Grammar's off, or it's like commenting, but it doesn't really apply to it, or their little like picture profile thing is just like super generic. It's like a cartoon character.
and then they have nothing on their profile.
Right.
Yeah, and I've noticed things like the comment will be going along just fine. All of a sudden, there'll be a word that's like a word that sounds like the word they're trying to say.
Right.
Like it rhymes with it, but it's not actually the word. And I
Yeah.
can't think of an actual person doing that.
Right.
Or you see like user profiles that have commented on all this stuff, and you go to that profile and it's like 0 followers, 0
Yes.
posts, 0, and you're like, that's
But
got
they're
totally-
following so many people.
so many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I remember I actually got, so I signed up for Twitter when it was still Twitter, and I got banned within a few hours because I was following people,
Mm-hmm.
but I hadn't posted anything yet.
Oh, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So it banned me, and I was like, I was so offended.
Yeah, so I wonder how much, the bots obviously increase traffic, which is good for the social media platform, but it's also not good because of the
Right.
crap content.
And if it isn't real, then it isn't good.
Yeah, and
like
then how do you-
I don't want. Well, maybe I would 5 billion subscribers to our channel if they're not actual people, but maybe I would because
right,
that would
yeah.
be pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's kind of there's a mix there because it's good numbers,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
completely empty numbers.
Right. Means
And there
nothing.
is there are sites where you can go and like pay, and then bots will follow you because it will
For
help
real?
with your numbers.
Just for the record, I don't want any bots
No.
following me anywhere.
we're not going to do that.
It's getting to that point
Yeah.
where it's going to be a
But
thing.
I remember a photographer I worked with at one point. He was like showing me how to do it, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that seems like
And then it's just like
uncomfy?
some old lady in China at a click farm just like
Yeah.
They're
running
just
around hitting
clicking all
it.
the likes.
yeah. So
Yeah,
there-
it almost has that deal with the devil kind of tinge
Yeah.
to it.
Right.
Like
'Cause it was
someday you're
like,
going to pay for that.
It seems like bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It seems like bad karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. All right. So, mystery fog.
Mystery fog.
So I sent Grant some videos. We'll get those in there, and then I showed you guys so that you could see them. But we all know what snow is, right?
No.
Precipitation in the form of small white ice crystals formed directly from water vapor of the air at a temperature less than 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or for you in Canada, 0 degrees Celsius. Fog, interestingly enough, forms when the temperature and the dew point of the air approach the same value within a 5-degree difference, either through cooling of the air or by adding enough moisture to raise the dew point. So in these videos, though, this is happening all across the country and all across the globe. There's mystery fog. And it's so bizarre, and you'll see it in the videos, but it's thick. It looks like snow, but it's not snow. It's fog.
But it's like bigger chunks of fog.
Big chunks of fog.
It's chunky fog.
Chunky fog.
It's got some
Fog.
pulp
Now
in
with
it.
pulp. Yeah, exactly. No, not good. Put it back.
Put it back. Put the fog, the pulpy fog back.
So they've had meteorologists on explaining what fog is, and they're like, there's fog behind me. Fog's natural, and fog is natural. We've all seen fog. Like,
Yes.
I used to go to Grand Marais, Minnesota all the time. There's lighthouses, fog horns, fog's fog. We've all experienced, like, just that misty fog.
Mm-hmm.
This is pulpy fog.
Yeah, Silent Hill fog.
Oh, my
So
God.
the other thing is like when you have large like snowflake sized particles,
Right.
that the density increases dramatically. So like fog, you can often see through it at a certain distance.
Correct.
Yes.
That kind of stuff, it would be really hard to see very
it
far at all.
occludes vision, and so that becomes one of the things that people are talking about. They're like, okay, there's something wrong with chemtrails, and we're going to say chemtrails, that it's actually more, it's not as condensed, so it's thick, and it's actually falling to the ground more than just hanging in the atmosphere, occluding the rays, weather
So
manipulation.
it's precipitating out because it's somehow congealing into larger
Right.
pieces.
And then people have reported that it's very sulfury smelling, and that when you walk through it, it'll actually kind of like stick to like your glasses or whatever, and it takes forever and like Dawn dish soap to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And they are also speculating that it's so that you can't see the drones, UAPs, plasmoids in the sky, because there's more of that going on than they want us to see. And then others were talking about how they're having respiratory issues after being exposed to it, and how maybe they're putting out flu from birds through it.
So my thought on the respiratory stuff, I have asthma, and I recently quit vaping because of my bronchitis.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I had bronchitis. It was horrible. I couldn't breathe. But I also think about when my asthma gets triggered, and a lot of the time, it's if there's high humidity, I'll actually have terrible asthma.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. And maybe that's not the same for everyone, but for me, I get wheezy and gross, and it's part of the reason why I always in Minnesota during the summertime, it is damp.
So humid.
And I'm just like So I wonder if it's just
That's part of it.
that's part of it. But also I would be curious what the air quality index is in these places.
Right.
How long does it last? Does it
Oh, it's
linger?
been days.
'Cause
I
that's
mean,
the-
it's going on for days.
That's the interesting
Silent
thing
Hill.
because you look at like larger particles are usually not going to stay suspended in the air. They're going to fall because
Right.
they're larger.
Right.
So they've got to be like not very dense particles. They got to be like enough where they can float around and stay airborne for a
Cottony.
while. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or
kind
ash,
of
like something that's not going to really rain down.
I would think cottony because of
Right.
how we saw it on that one video you showed me with it on the water.
The stuff on the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing about this is it's happening across the country, because at one point somebody was like, well, maybe it's a factory that's having an issue and they're, throwing particulates out into the air. It's all over the country. One's in Texas, like it's not cold for snow. One's in Florida. One in particular, the one where it's floating on the pool, it reminds you like the cotton trees around here,
Yep.
but it's just piling up in the water.
It's
And
It
like
looked like it was pretty thick.
and
too.
it was thick,
Foamy.
almost foamy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Pulpy.
the other one where the guy's out with his flashlight, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like that stuff could almost knock you out. I mean, they're thick.
Yeah, it looks like heavy, dense snow.
But it's
Yes.
swirling around, not really dropping to
Right.
the ground.
yeah.
So mystery fog, it's kind of the new internet sensation right now.
Yeah.
And just like the drones, UAP, plasmoids, nobody's commenting on it. Like no actual, atmosphere, like NOAA's not coming out and talking about it. Oddly enough, HARP's not talking about it either.
And when
So-
they do, it'll be It's not harmful, but we don't know what it is.
100%. That's the new catchphrase for everything.
Yeah. I had never even heard of it or even seen
It's a new
anything
thing.
about it until
It
you
like
told me
literally
about it
started
today.
cropping up on the 30th of December.
Okay, so it's brand new.
Brand
spanking new.
And it's more like, hey, look at the mystery fog and don't pay attention to the UAPs.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
you know, or,
Yep.
Yeah.
or
Well, the drone activity just kind of went away for a while there. So I wonder if those are
I
connected.
mean, we kind of called that
Right?
a little bit.
Yeah.
If you haven't gone back and watched the drone episodes, watch those. But it wasn't necessarily what we called it for or thought it was going to be.
Right.
But yeah.
It did
So-
just kind of stop, though.
I would like to hear what you think that the mystery fog is.
Honestly, because Floyd and I get into this all the time until he finally was like, I think there's something to these chemtrails. I'm like, yes!
Well,
I'm breaking through.
he is hiding that from me then. 'cause-
Yeah, no. So we talked about that, and I think there's something to that because there was actually a congressional hearing on contrail versus chemtrail, and these pilots saying, no, these particulates, usually above 30,000 feet, because of the mixture of moisture and the exhaust, will form ice particles, but usually they dissipate within 30 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at these chemtrails, and we've got an episode on that, go back and watch that, they just dissipate across the sky, but they stay suspended. So when I listen to some of these people that are like, there's something wrong or this is the new phase of it, and it's just heavier and it's coming down further and closer,
Mm-hmm.
there could be something to it. What is it? I don't know. Aluminum sulfide, they say, some sulfurs, some heavier metal type stuff that isn't naturally found like that.
Mhm.
What's the purpose behind it? I don't know. Get into the groundwater, do all kinds of filter your water, people.
So what do you think? We're going to wrap it up here
Well-
shortly, but I want to know what everyone thinks it is.
I mentioned the chemtrails in the chemtrails episode that where in the planes is it stored? It has to be in the fuel.
They don't run on fuel.
but see, there we go. There's the.
See, this is why your phone is listening right now, and that's
Yeah.
why your algorithm's
That's
all
probably
messed
why.
up.
Yeah, it's you guys.
Yeah.
They run on
Aaron.
mystery fog.
Yeah.
Duh.
I mean,
It's Aaron and Floyd, not me.
I think that
Sometimes
if
me.
you're wanting to do stuff, depending on what you're doing, spraying at that high of an altitude is not a very effective way to do it. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish, though. If you're trying to do atmospheric solar radiation blocking or something, maybe that makes sense. But then that doesn't happen down at the ground where we can get cell phone videos of it right at that level. So I don't know if it's related. I mean, there's something going on, but
Somebody didn't adjust the flux capacitor of the
They put
chemtrails.
too much detergent in it. It's just a bunch of soap flakes coming down. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's just, it's a bubble machine.
It's a foam party for everyone.
Somebody got something for Christmas, and the little kid's just out there just having a heyday with it.
Foam party.
Yep.
I think it is something to do with climate change myself, because I just think about how weird this winter has been.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, where is the snow?
Right.
I want the
It's
snow.
being used up as mystery fog.
Yeah.
It's being used up as a foam party. I don't know, but I do think it's something to do with climate change, and I think there needs to be some research done on what is going on with the weather right now, because I think for the past few years it's actually been just so weird. There was one Minnesota Christmas that I had where it didn't snow at all, and ever since then I have
unheard
been
of.
so paranoid. And even this year, I don't know if it snowed in Minnesota. I know they had rain like the week before.
No, they got blasted.
Did they get some snow? Okay, good.
White
good.
Bear Lake made the national news.
I should have just called my dad before this episode, asked him, but
Yeah, and I think we're supposed to get some in the next couple of days here, finally.
Yes.
vortex, people.
Yeah.
Polar vortex.
well, maybe we'll just
Bundle
get
up.
some mystery fog. So, on that note, who wants to close us
go,
out?
Go get your locked up items now before the 18
Yeah.
feet of snow comes.
And don't eat the yellow snow, and don't eat the chunky snow.
Right, the pulpy
the
stuff.
pulpy
snow.
snow.
Well, I guess with that, we've got mystery kitchens, we've got dead internet, and we've got mystery fog. If you have any theories on any of these things, please go to the comments, leave us a comment. We do read those. Grant's really good about reading them and telling us, what to pay attention to. And I go in there and read them, actually. But you've been listening to Jackalopes Explore.